Welcome to another exciting edition of 42 Stories Anthology Presents. We have an interview today with one of the writers of the Apocalyptic Chapter, but so much more. Welcome, KJ.
I'm happy to be here.
So why don't you give the viewers your bio? It doesn't have to be 42 words, no worries.
I'll probably run over that a little bit. I'm a real late blooming author. I started publishing fiction about 10 years ago after a long career in nonfiction or allegedly nonfiction. And now I truly get to write fiction. My stories have appeared in places like Galaxy's Edge, the B Cubed Press, political speculative fiction anthologies. And I'm really pleased that a number of them have been on podcasts, including StarShip Sofa and the Overcast. I live out in Seattle. I've been here for got 40 years now after having lived in New York and New Haven, and I love it here. It's a great place to be a writer. Seattle is full of writers.
Yeah, you mentioned that you know one of them, right? One of the judges in the book.
Yes, but he wasn't judging my section. That's Micaiah Hugh Evans.
Yeah, he gave some great tips on a lot of editing things, and it's a good video for people to check out too. I recommended it actually the last person I talked to. So yeah, he's come up a few times now.
Yeah, he was a fine writer and a very good editor.
I think it was his interview where he said that his favorite achievement was walking down a bookstore and his kid saw the book and said, "That's you." And that was such a touching story. I think that itself needs to be a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But about your about you, because this is your interview, I want to do some icebreaker questions first. It's going to be like four icebreaker questions and then two kind of long questions about your writing. Um, First, let me ask about animals because it's something I think a lot of people love. What's your favorite animal? Why?
Well, that's a cat bed in the background,
Mhm.
and that's a bed for my 27-year-old cat. I got him when he was 23. Cats are my favorite animals. I worked for Rover.com as a cat columnist for 3 years, testing cat products, and we even tested our cat's DNA, which was fun. I have I have three cats that were rescued from California, and I also have we have a little kitten that we got last year who was found in the middle of a highway. She ran up to a car. She was 5 weeks old and her face was all infected and she asked for help. And her eye fell out. And I saw her picture and she was so feisty and so eager and so good with people that I sent over some money and I adopted her. And she just had her eye socket closed up 2 weeks ago. So now I have an official one-eyed cat. They named her Annie the pirate kitten
The pirate kid. Okay.
after Anne Bonny, the famous woman pirate.
Yeah, I've heard the name, but
Yes.
I'm sure that some viewers might not know. Yeah, but that's a really funny name.
Yes.
You said they. Who named her?
The people who rescued her, the Adams County Pet Rescue, which is in the middle of Washington State, they do they are like the biggest rescue in Washington State. And they do mostly dogs, but also a lot of kittens. And the Adams County cats are really aggressive barn cats, incredible mousers. They're just like cats on steroids.
Yeah, it sounds like a great place with if they're helping cats and animals.
They're
Yeah,
very inspiring.
yeah, and I love the way you phrase that where she asked to be rescued, and that's great because they really do have a voice. They can't talk, but they do.
Her tail was up in the air like
Yeah.
a flag, and
Mm,
I could see her personality. They
mm,
were taking pictures during the rescue, and any cat that could be that sick, that could run up to a car on a highway,
mm.
I mean, the cat is amazing.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So I admire cats completely.
Mm. Yeah, my friend who's also a writer, another one of the judges in the book, she judged but she's not the judge because she's my friend. She's actually an accomplished writer. Darlene Campos, she was one of I think Indigenous chapter judge. She has like 9 cats, but
That's a lot. We find that five keep us really busy.
yeah, I think it's 9. I shouldn't be quoted there. I should actually ask her again later. But it was pretty high up there earlier. So she's always rescuing them, and it's so sweet. I really admire that. It's harder in Japan here to rescue a cat because there's all this licensing and stuff. But let's get into talking about writing. I think you mentioned a writer already. Who are some writers, deceased or living, that you would want to meet?
I feel really, really privileged that I have met a lot of the really distinguished living writers because my partner, Tom Whitmore, owned a large bookstore in Berkeley.
Oh,
So he's met all these writers. He introduced me when Harlan Ellison was still alive. He made it possible for me to interview Harlan, which was a life-changing experience in a good way. The writer that I never met, who I wish I had met, was an Australian, originally English, but then Australian gentleman named Arthur Upfield. And he wrote a series about a half Aborigine, half white police detective named Napoleon Bonaparte, or Boney. And if you are a mystery reader, the Napoleon Bonaparte books, they are a writer's, they are books where you admire the writing. I guess they're very popular in Australia. Most people here haven't heard of them, but I read those books over and over again, particularly when I'm trying to center my own voice in my own writing. I find Arthur Upfield extremely inspiring.
hmm. I'll have to check out Author Upfield. I've never heard the name until now, and it's always great to hear of another writer who is inspiring people.
Many of his books take place in the outback, but
Hmm.
some of them take place in cities. And
Okay.
I guess one I would recommend for you to start with, because it's very accessible,
All right.
is called Venom House.
Venom House.
And it's about strange goings on with a very wealthy family in a sheep herding community.
Okay.
And it also resonates in terms of the things that they have done to oppress the Aborigines start to come back to haunt them. It's I mean, it's got a horror tinge to it, just beautifully written.
Hmm. It sounds great. Let's go to kind of something involving writing, which is that, and a lot of writers do this, they might not even notice when they write. There's always some kind of message they have, and many of them have a message where they want people to stop doing something, and they don't even notice they're doing it when they write, but it's in there. Like writers have a message, it's in the writing, and it shows up subconsciously, and but they were put it in subconsciously, I think. What's your kind of message you want the human race to stop doing?
Wow, I don't know how much this gets into my writing, but I think it gets into my writing because when I have a bad or a negative or a flawed character, they tend to have this trait that I cannot stand,
Oh,
and
what's
it's
that?
whining. I mean, and it's great because whining, if you're reading a book, um, generally if a character is whining a lot, you're like, yeah, 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 get over it. And of course I'm like that in real life. I'm like, yes, get over it. And I understand that people have terrible and upsetting experiences, and I sort of feel like they are entitled to talk about it once,
Hmm.
and after that I think they need to either turn it into a work of art or go into therapy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
sort of the public rant and rave, you're entitled to one rave per topic.
Oh, that's a great rule. When I met my fiance, she thought that I was kind of a whiner, to be honest. And but I introduced her to some a word called kvetching. She's from the Philippines. She's never heard of it.
Fetching.
Yeah, and because that's what people where I'm from. Well, not I'm from. Like Jewish people have this word. We say kvetching. If I'm
I'm
saying,
Jewish.
I'm probably slaughtering the pronunciation. I'm sure you know it then. Kvetching.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh no,
and
my mother is Jewish. Oh, and if you
that's what we
kvetch,
say.
people say stop kvetching
Yeah.
and they whack you.
Hmm. So, but she actually inspired me to do something with these complaints, which is what I've been doing, and it changed to not kvetching, which is I've been making ideas for books. So I didn't like how people were reacting. In Japan, for example, they call bald people skinhead, and they don't know that that's extremely offensive. And I didn't get offended by them. I would just tell other people. And she said, "You're whining." And I said, "No, I'm kvetching." And she said, "Why don't you do something creative with this idea?" And I go, "That's a great idea." So I'm writing a book that's called Bald is Bold, about why I'm so proud of shaving my head and I like it. And I want to inspire other people with it. And she
Is
inspired that.
in Japan is the shaved head associated with martial arts or gangsters or anything? Does it have a
No,
meaning?
no, they just say skinhead, and it shocked me. So I want to educate people about that. And I was complaining about it, like you're saying, people complaining. And yeah, so you're kind of stop complaining, and it's true. You need to do something constructive.
Yeah, it's energy, and you have to put it somewhere.
Hmm. Have any of your writing stem from your idea?
Boy, I'm trying to, I'm sure that they have. Um,
Didn't mean to throw that one at you.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of. Actually, I've just submitted a story for an anthology called Glenn Must Die.
Oh.
And the idea of the anthology is that we all know this annoying person
Hmm.
who just makes a mess out of everything,
Hmm.
sometimes by whining, by doing other things. And in your story, Glenn must die. And I have a whining person who causes his own problems and then wants everyone else to bail him out. And he does sadly die.
Oh, but it sounds like you want them to. Yeah. So maybe
He
it's not this
deserves
sad for you. But when you're writing about these characters like Glenn to die, what's the best way to write them? I think for you, what's the best way to write?
it. For me, the best way to write is completely to dissociate from everything that's going on around me. Uh, I just go into a trance, and I believe that all my stories already exist. They exist before I go to them.
Hmm.
And what I am doing is essentially carving away stuff so that the story comes out and manifests itself. And many of my stories, I'm just carving away stuff so that this story stands there where people can see it and walk around it. I'm into, I love things that are really accurate and stories that are really visual. So I
Hmm.
really feel like people can walk around my story 360 and it makes sense from whatever angle you approach it at.
Hmm.
And it was when you were asking about relaxing, and I was thinking, remember the big thing for stand-up desks? I mean, that's still a big
Hmm.
thing. We're all getting stand-up
Yeah.
desks. I set one up in our hallway where we have a desk at exactly the right height that we use
Oh.
for leaving memos and stuff. And I put my laptop there and I got in front of it and I started to work on fiction and I wound up on the floor because it
Oh.
turns out when I write, I go limp.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
you
I'm
have to.
normally in a chair, so I don't notice that I'm limp. But it turned out that standing up was a mistake.
Yeah, eventually your knees will give out and your ankles too if you stand too long.
I don't know about that because I didn't stand that long. But I go into the space where my story is, and all those characters are completely real to me.
Hmm.
And hours, I mean, I will completely dissociate from what's going on around me. As a child, I was like that with reading, and now I'm like that with writing.
Hmm. Oh. So while you're relaxing like that, I bet your cats join you.
Some of them join me and sit and purr,
Hmm.
and others meow and whine
Hmm.
because they want to be let in, let out, get fed, etc.
So you have this cat circle, right? Do you have a writer circle too?
Several.
Oh,
And
tell me
boy,
about it.
if I did not have writer circles, I would not be writing anymore. I would have given up, and I guess I'd be practicing ukulele or something. Um, yeah, when I started writing, boy, this is weird. When I started writing, I was chairing boards of social and arts agencies, and
Hmm.
I ended up as the chair of a board of a writing community.
Hmm.
And I got into a dispute with somebody who said to me, "You can't do this. You're not a real writer." And
Hmm.
I'd never published any fiction.
Oh.
So I applied to the Viable Paradise Writing Workshop in Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts, and I got in, actually on my second try. And I got in and I went to Martha's Vineyard with 22 other people. And it was life changing.
Hmm.
And one of the people in my group set up a Slack community. And we are all together in the Slack. And if you run into trouble of any kind I can't write because somebody's dying. I can't write because my boss has gone insane. I'm stuck on this story. I got a rejection. from some editor who said, this is dumb. I mean, you feel terrible. And these people help you. They also say, Karen, there's an anthology about Jack the Ripper. You should send them your Jack the Ripper story. I never would have known about it if they hadn't told me.
Hmm.
That group is important. And I've found a critique group here in Seattle, another critique group that's online. And then I belong to a group called 2 Hour Transport. And before COVID, they gathered everyone to do 5-minute readings at a little beer joint. And we'd all go buy hamburgers and stand up and read for 5 minutes. And that was just an amazing. You write something you're excited, you go read to them.
Hmm.
So I am blessed with wonderful writing communities.
That sounds like a lot of fun as well as a way to get stuff done because they're constructive and help you find places to send your stories.
Oh yeah, and there's individuals in the group,
Hmm.
who you bond with, and then you read each other's stuff, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's wonderful.
I know that you're in the apocalyptic chapter where your story is not you literally, but there's another story you reminded me of when you brought up Jack the Ripper. It's an alternate reality. If you're into Jack the Ripper, I highly recommend you read that one. It's in there. You'll find it. I mean, it's only 42
Good.
word stories, so you'll find it.
Yes, I'm. I had gone to London with an old boyfriend, and we did the midnight Jack the Ripper tour,
Hmm.
and it
There's one.
affected me really, really deeply. I had been a police reporter at the newspaper, and I'm very interested in police work. And suddenly, and then I went to hear Tim Powers give a lecture on doing basic research on what Victorian England was really like. So you aren't dealing in stereotypes, you're dealing in actual research from someone who lived there.
Hmm.
And that made a real difference for me and enabled me to write a Jack the Ripper story. It was the first story I sold, and I sold it to Maxime Jakubowski, who is a major figure in crime fiction. And I was amazed when the book came out and everyone else in it was like an award-winning British author. And then there was me because I'd sent him a story. So yeah.
Well, that's great. It sounds like a really memorable experience, and I took a note of that to check out the Jack the Ripper Midnight Tour. I went to London and didn't know about it, and when I go back with my fiance one day, I'll take her to that. Sounds
Oh,
great.
and it's really spooky and scary because they have a part of London where they still only use gas light
Oh,
and you really get the feeling. What I did not know about England until I started doing my research was we think of poor neighborhoods and well-off neighborhoods in the
yeah.
United States.
Hmm.
In Victorian England, it didn't work that way. There were these main streets where the wealthy people went to the theater and to restaurants.
Oh,
But the streets leading off of those main streets were where the poor people lived and who worked there. And so you walked 2 or 3 blocks off the high street, and it was really sleazy.
yeah.
That's where the Ripper operated.
Hmm. Whoa. That's so interesting. So, I want to talk to you about, well, I guess one more question, which is about your writing. But let's go to the beginning of it. How did you start? Like, what was your first story? Was it published?
Let's see. Um, no.
Hmm.
My first story was um it was kind of I think a lot of people I mean nowadays it would be called fan fiction,
Hmm.
and it was definitely in sort of the Harry Potter vein, only it was a martial arts school.
Oh,
And that was my first story. And then my second story was urban fantasy. And that's never been published, but some adjacent stories in that universe have been. But the first story I published was um, when I'd gone off to that writing workshop. I wrote a story on the airplane on the way home, and I sold it to a Canadian anthology that went on to win the Aurora Award for fiction in Canada.
and you said you wrote that while on a plane. Oh, that's so great.
Oh, planes are a great place to work because nobody can bug you. And I didn't know anybody on the plane, so I just got to sit there in this seat with my computer, and it was very focused.
So your writer's space expands all the way to the sky. Oh, that's amazing. Why don't you tell people where they could find you on social media or where they could find your books?
Oh, it's easy to find me. I am at writerway, just writerway.com. If it's slash fiction, it
Okay.
gives you a list of all of my books.
Right away. Yeah, I think I follow you on Blue Sky. I know you're there or something.
I
So,
am not doing as much on Blue Sky as I should. I've been doing a lot on Facebook
oh,
because my older friends and relatives are there, and some of my younger ones, and also because I do social media for a couple of groups, and their social media revolves a lot around Facebook, so I want to be there monitoring things. Yeah.
well, I want to remind the viewers that your story's name. It's the third one in the Apocalyptic chapter, and it's called Zorg's Review: The End of Earth, 2 stars. And I hope they check that out along with a lot of the other stories. But yeah, when I read your story, I thought it was one thing, but it turns out to be another. And I think either way, people will like it. Uh, before I let you go, though, could I show you something?
Oh, absolutely.
It's kind of a surprise, but it's not blatant advertising. I started a merch store to help pay the editors and the artists in the book, because otherwise it's all coming from my teacher salary. And
Yeah,
so,
really. Let's
yeah,
see.
but the merch store, what I did was I took the logo of the book and put it on a few things like shirts and magnets. And there's also a cat mat. But yeah, I'd be happy to show it to you if you're okay with that.
Yes, I'd love to.
Let's see. So I don't know if you see it. Let's see. Where's that pet
There
mat?
it is.
I think
You're on Redbubble. Okay.
yeah, Redbubble. So what's cool though is they have so many different ways to do designs. It's a little hard to find them though. Like you have to click one and then from a store, and then
Hmm.
go in and then you see the product after that instead of it being you search for something and you see all the products. It has to be
So
like
what is the store name that we're looking for when we go to
so.
look for it?
I don't know how easy this is to find. It's going to be in the description, but the store name, which is it should be. Let's see, show it to you. Or just go like that, and there's a bunch of things to click. That's my only qualm about this website is there's so many things to click. The store name looks like just under BAMWrites. Um,
Okay.
but I hope that if you search 42 Stories Anthology, this comes up. The last time I searched, it didn't. So that's why there'll be a link in the description
Excellent.
to stuff like this. And there's a lot with the design. This design says you can't quite see it, but it says Book of 42 Squared, and then there's 42 Stories Anthology Presents, like this. And I was trying to show you the really cool thing that so here's a pet blanket and a cat mat. Yeah, that's what I wanted to show you. What do you think of that?
I love it.
Awesome. Okay.
The
Okay.
blanket makes sense. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's a nice design too.
Yeah. Is it a fish? So I was trying to guess.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay. So I merchandised enough of your time. Merchandised enough.
I'm
That's
excited to see it. I mean, it's really interesting. Um, like most writers, I send to a lot of submission calls for anthologies, and there are a number of publishers that just don't market their books.
hmm,
They put all this energy in, they're good editors,
yeah.
book looks gorgeous, and they're not marketing it. And
Yeah.
then other people just go wild. Gaby Triana, who's a horror editor, fantastic marketing.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right. A lot of these, and a lot of them are relying on Amazon. What they do is they just put their book on Amazon and then they call it a day and then they complain that nothing's selling. And if they're not doing anything, then that's why it's not selling.
The group that I work with, B Cubed, goes to conventions, so we're physically present with our books, which is great.
Yeah.
And we also do a Sunday morning podcast.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of our sales are driven by the podcast because they get to hear our writers.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a great idea. Along with this vlog, maybe I should try a podcast. I definitely can't be live like you with being in Japan. But yeah, after I
Right.
move to the States, I'll try that out. The book won't be too old in a few years. So yeah, great ideas. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you very much, Pam. This has been great.
All right, thanks, KJ.